Keith Tebow from FRCMedia. Thank you for joining us today as we head to the final stretches of December in 2020. Can't believe the holiday season is about a week and a half away. And we want to get an update from our friends in the business sector. I'm pleased to be joined, as we have many times this year, and we appreciate their participation. The co-CEOs of the OneSouthCoast Chamber, Rick Kidder and Michael O'Sullivan. Gentlemen, how are you today?
Great, Keith. How are you?
We are doing well. Michael, let me start with you. We talked with you prior to Thanksgiving about Small Business Saturday and, the beginning of the holiday shopping season. From what you're hearing in terms of some of your members, how has their season gone thus far?
It's been okay. Some retailers are saying that it's been good, some not so good. It really depends on the industry or the category within the retail industry. But we've had some that are very excited. It's been tough. There's not as many people out walking around. You go to the malls, you even go to the big box stores, and it seems slower as well. So it has not been as good as we had hoped, and as good as the businesses had hoped.
Unfortunately, that's been the theme throughout 2020. But Rick, let me ask you, in terms of some of the merchants that may be selling their wares online, has that been a benefit to them at all, as more people now are obviously shopping via their computers or their phones this year?
Yeah, and I think the word of the year this year is pivot. And a lot of our merchants have pivoted to online sales, and that's been something of a mixed bag. They obviously have to be known. They have to get out there. They have to get the word out there about them. But for those that have been able to do some significant online sales and do some relatively inexpensive marketing through Facebook and other platforms, I think we're starting to see that they're making some sales, and that's probably something that's going to stick in the future as well. So we're going to see that continue to grow. It's not just the big boys that are online now. It's the little guys who are online, and I hope that people take advantage of that and really give them an opportunity to survive.
Since we last spoke, Governor Baker sort of has brought us back a little bit, taken us a step back in terms of our economic activity. We're now in phase 3, step 1. And in many instances, a lot of businesses in our region were already in that category, as once the COVID numbers came to a point where communities were either in the color-coded green, yellow, red. Unfortunately, many of our communities are in that red area. So, Rick, in some ways, there hasn't been much of an impact in terms of this regression at all, right?
There hasn't, and that's one of the reasons, Keith, that we launched our coupon book program. Where many of our restaurants and other retailers in the hospitality industry that have been so heavily hit can take advantage of putting coupons out there that will be for all of 2021. So as things get better, people will be able to take advantage of going to these places and using them, because we know that the vaccine is there. It's already arrived in the state. There are people starting to be vaccinated now, but we know that it's going to be 6-8 months before people are feeling fully vaccinated and comfortable out there.
And Mike, what are you hearing about some of the other those businesses as well? We've talked before a lot about restaurants. Are they they have to comply obviously with the new regulations, but as I said, many of them have just been doing that right along because we've been in that red area, if you will.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's really changed anything significantly for the restaurants or for the businesses, since the governor rolled things back a little bit more. It's changed some, but not drastically, because everybody was already very operating very tightly.
As we wrap up the year, we're still, and I talked about this with Mike, and I talk about this with both of you quite often, and we talk about this so often about more potential help financially for a local business. Are you hopeful that at the very least we'll hear something before the end of the year, or do you think it'll be when the new administration takes over on January 20th?
Oh, I think we're going to get something while they're in a lame duck session. if we don't hear something within the next week, I would be very, very surprised. What exactly that's going to look like is still a bit of a moving target. But we know that within that is going to be some substantial help for small business. And it's important that Congress get its act together and get that done even before the new administration. I think we can remain confident that the president will sign it if they can put something forward that really is going to help business come back.
Yeah. And I know we've talked about this throughout the year, how the fact that, the chamber, you're still doing events, you're still engaging your members, if you will, through workshops, training, interaction with people, speaking with those in power. And I guess, and either one of you can answer this, you've got a couple of workshops coming up, one this week, one on Wednesday, with a congressman-elect, and then with Governor Baker next week. What are those going to look like?
They're going to be pretty much a town hall format, Keith. With Jake Auchincloss, it's really going to be the first time for him to talk to our membership. So it's going to be kind of a getting to know you type session, but it will be interesting, to hear what he's got to say and what his priorities are. And with, through questions we can ask, we can make sure he's very aware of what the priorities that the businesses have. And the governor, we're very excited to have the governor next week. This will be the third year in a row that the governor has come and spoken to the chamber. Second time that he's spoken to OneSouthCoast Chamber. We're very excited about the governor not coming to town, but speaking to us virtually.
Yeah, he's still coming to town. It's virtual. He'll be here.
No, he's coming to town. Last year when he was here, he actually unveiled our new name and our new logo at the event. Yep. So we're really excited, actually, that he's going to take the time to be with us and listen to the concerns of the business community, but also kind of lay out his vision going forward. It's been a tough year for him as well. And I think that most of our membership is pretty sympathetic to the challenges that he's had to bear. So I think it'll be a very informative thing. And tomorrow, actually, Keith, we're going to have a seminar on PPP forgiveness. And I think we already have over 100 people signed up for that. And we're doing that in partnership with the SBA. So that should be really an interesting one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And will these events be able to be shared with members who may not be able to attend? Is that an option?
It is. We record all that we do, and so they will go up onto our YouTube channel so that people will have an opportunity to see them. In the case of the SBA seminar, I think the SBA will probably archive it, but we'll probably have an opportunity to do so as well.
Good. So you'll be able to share that information with some of your members who couldn't be there. That's great.
Yeah.
And just one note: the Jake Auchincloss event this week, I believe, is free, but people need to pre-register, so you have a number. But the governor's event, that is a ticketed event, correct?
It is.
The governor's a ticketed event with $10 going to local food banks.
Right. That's fantastic. One other piece of business before we let you, actually two pieces of business. One, last time we spoke, you were getting ready for your annual meeting, the first as the OneSouthCoast Chamber. Rick, how did that work out?
Oh, it worked out really well. Obviously, we had to do it via Zoom, but we managed to work our way through the various mechanics that you have to get through in an annual meeting, various votes and whatnot. That went very smoothly. And we had a great opportunity to present some awards to some very, very deserving people. The most important award, of course, the Roger Valcourt Award going to Keith Hovan, who is the CEO of SouthCoast Health. And he accepted that award on behalf of the entire SouthCoast Health community that's had to work so very, very hard this year.
As I leave you, gentlemen, I've got one final question. As we look back, we tend to look forward to the next year and also look back to the year that is just finishing. And, as both of you look toward 2020, and Mike, I'll start with you. There are a lot of things that we'll remember from this year, a lot of obvious things that we'll remember. But if you can come up with maybe one item that, maybe an impact that we maybe think about in terms of the business industry here in our region in 2020, that, may fall a little under the radar. What do you think that would be? And I'll ask you the same thing, Rick. Mike first.
I'll say it's two things. One is business's ability to pivot, and the other one, which kind of goes hand in hand with that is people's ability to collaborate. The collaborations that came out of nothing this year were just phenomenal. And then some of the organizations that had been collaborating a little bit were really jumped in with both feet. And we just saw some fantastic things that people did all throughout and they're still going on. The food security group that has been delivering food, all throughout the pandemic in the Fall River area is just phenomenal. The pods that some of the not-for-profits created for the learning pods are just phenomenal. There's just, collaborating and pivoting they're the two things that really have driven this year, that have made people succeed this year.
Rick, how about you?
I think one of the things, Keith, that you see when times are really, really good, people have a tendency to become kind of sort of selfish is sort of the wrong word, but they become kind of self-absorbed with their own success. What we saw this year was a whole lot of people rallying around each other and rallying around our communities to make certain that a situation over which they had no control was not going to knock them down. So for us, that old Elton John song, "I'm Still Standing," has been kind of a watchword for us, and we've seen, as Mike had intimated, we've seen so much in the way of community involvement, rallying, and people rallying together who often didn't always talk to each other about getting the shared job done. So I could not be more proud of the area where we live, where people have pulled together like that. And our businesses have suffered, yes, but they've also found new ways. And we've all found new ways of doing things that are going to have some staying power. So we couldn't be happier to see 2020 in the rearview mirror. But at the same time, we know that there are some things that we gained from it that are going to make us a better, stronger, and more resilient region.
Well, I want to definitely thank the both of you for joining me throughout this year to talk about some of the business interests in the South Coast. We'll continue that. And more importantly, I want to thank you for our event this week, our North Pole Live. We're proud to partner with the OneSouthCoast Chamber this year. And we really appreciate all you do, not only for us at FRCMedia, but for the community. So Rick and Mike, thank you for joining me. Have a great holiday season. We'll talk to you early in 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith.
You too. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays,
Thank you.
everyone.
And thank you for joining us today here on FRCMedia. I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great rest of your day.